Hey, it's Biddy Penny. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a little craft studio monthly maintenance. So I sat down a week or two ago to craft, and I was out of card bases and glue and tape and just everything. I was restocking. So I made myself this list, and I do need to edit it. I have refill ink pads twice. Just ignore that. But anyways, I made myself this list, and I'm going to do these chores once a month as a blessing, if you will, to my craft room. The first thing on my list is refill glue bottles and wipe them down. So I have two that are already full. One because I just ordered it, and the other because I just refilled it when I was out of everything that day. But my adhesive box could use some work. And to be honest, it often needs some work. So the last time I sorted through this box was about 2 or 3 months ago. I go through adhesive pretty quickly. I average about 1,000 cards a year that I make. And so I use a lot of foam tape and glue and all of those things. So right now I'm just emptying everything out of the box. I also keep my scissors tucked into my adhesive box. Just, it's all about location, 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 right? So it works best for my craft setup. Guys, I do not have a glamorous craft room. I do have a craft studio, and I am so grateful for it. But it is just so chocked full of stuff and pretty organization. I admire it, but it's not something that I've ever tried to make happen. So, like this is just a Sterilite, really basic, clear 6-quart. It's really like a shoebox that you can get at Walmart that I keep my adhesive in. It just works for me. I keep it really simple. As long as stuff is functional, that's all that really matters. So, to me. So I'm going to refill my glue here, and I made a boo-boo. I just wasn't thinking straight, probably because the camera is on. And I took the lid off. Don't do that. If you have a double-ended glue bottle like this one, leave your top lid on so that when you put the glue in it, it pressurizes, gravity, all of that stuff. You don't have a mess like I have, but it's all good. I can clean it up. So I'm going to go through and kind of take some things out of this box, because when I work with kids, I just tend to throw some stuff in here, and then I don't need, for instance, right here, it's like, how many rolls of double-sided tape do I really need in my box at one time? Not that many. So I have a backup drawer for adhesive, and what I'm going to do is just put a few of those in there, and then I'll put the rest in my backup drawer. From that drawer is where I have this little Ziploc bag for glue dot sheets that come in like in the paper pumpkins. So I'll put those up, tighten up my dollar store foam tape that I love so much, and just pop a few things back in. I use glue sticks in my junk journals, so that's why those are there. I know you don't see paper crafter or card makers use those very often. And then I've got my scissors. And then I just continue to kind of sort through all of these things. And here's the other thing, like, I don't try to organize to where things are perfectly sorted. I just like to know that everything has a place, and I put it back in its place. Like, that's good enough for me. So this is what it looks like at the end. For me, it's totally functional. It works, and I'm done with that chore. So let's mark it off the list and move on to the next, which is to refill my ink pads. Now, I just pulled these two out. I've never had to refill my VersaFine. I realized I did not order the Gina K ink refill when I ordered this pad, because I wasn't sure if I'd like the ink, and I didn't want to go full Monty and buy the pad and buy the ink refill if I didn't like it. So I need to order that. So on my list here that I have, I put order Gina K refill. And that way I can do that. I wanted to show y'all, this is my little ink pad for my stamp that I use on the back of my cards. So that's why that's in there. All right, what does need to be re-inked is definitely this embossing pad. I went to use it the other day and it was just like dry as a bone. So we are going to ink that up real quick, and this will be the only ink pad I do today because I've done some of this maintenance already this month. Like a week or so ago, I did a lot of the maintenance that's on this list because, like I said, it was just all used up in every way. All right, so now my ink pads are good to go. And now I need to refill and fold my card bases and card fronts. So this is my box that I keep my pre-folded card bases in, and you can tell it's missing, like more than half the box needs to be filled. So I have my card bases and my card fronts pre-cut for me at Kinko's. I take them the paper that I like to use and they cut it for me. It's usually like $1 or $2 a cut. So it's totally worth it because I do not want to sit and cut card bases. I don't mind folding them, but I do not want to cut them. Not the volume that I use. So I love this little scoreboard. This is about the only thing I use it for, is it has 2 straight edges and it helps me fold my card bases really well. Now, when I use my thicker card bases, like my Nina 110, then I do not use that, I score it. So that's about a month's worth of card bases, guys. And these are my card fronts. Almost all of my card fronts that I used are 4 by 5 1/4. You can tell from the gaping hole in this box. So I have these pre-cut as well. And I just need to fill up my box. And that is done. And then I have refill my water brushes. Well, this is something I did, so I won't have to do it this month, but I still wanted to show you guys. I just took my whole container to the sink and refilled them. Wasn't that little cozy around it so cute? Crazy Paper Chick made that. Guys, she doesn't just make cards. She makes all kinds of stuff, and she has a really cool Etsy shop for all of her embroidery and sewing stuff. All right, next up, I need to refill my stamp cleaner bottles and my water bottle. So I'm going to show y'all how I make mine. I just use about 5 or 6 good sized drops of baby soap, and then about 5 little drops of glycerin. Then I fill the rest of the bottle with water, shake it up, and it's good to go. I got that recipe from Prairie Paper Ink from Amy R. And I've used it and it works great. Okay. I have on here to restock foam tape and adhesive on desk, but we already did that when we refilled the glue bottles. Now I'm going to sharpen my cutting blade. You guys might, if you're new, you might have missed it, but I did this in a video recently, so I don't need to do it too much here. But it's on the list and it can't hurt. So I went ahead and sharpened it. Then I grabbed a baby wipe. And I'm going to give this a once over here, but I can tell this needs a lot more like cleaning power to get the adhesive off. So I'll tackle that in a minute, but I am going to go ahead and wipe down my scissors, my trimmers, and my die cutting machine. So that's what I'm doing here. Things that I use every single time I make a card, right? So these things could really use some love as far as maintenance is concerned. I do always wash my hands before I start making cards. I don't know if anyone else does that, but like, I don't want like potato chips getting on my cards, or like, I think about people who are like my son who has an anaphylactic allergy, food allergy. And so I like to, craft with sterile hands as much as possible because I know the things I make end up in other people's hands and homes. Let me know. Do y'all do that? I don't know. It's just something I started early on. So I am going to give this paper trimmer lots of love and maintenance too, because it is my workhorse. I love this trimmer so much. So I'm going to pop off this guard, and you can see it has a little clip just on this end. I'm going to use my scissors and pop it out. And that way I can really get like the glue residue and everything off. I'm using an adhesive eraser just in case you're wondering. I used that there on the guard and on the base, and now my trimmer looks like new. It's beautiful. This trimmer is pretty new. It doesn't look like it, but it is. So now I'm using the same adhesive eraser and a lot of elbow grease, and I'm cleaning this one up. I also just go ahead because I can see, paper in between the scoring lines, so I'm just cleaning that up with my baby wipe. It's an honor to take care of the things, our tools, and the things that we use because they help us with our craft, right? Next up, these old cloths need to be washed. So this is my Restock Clean microfiber cloths. I like to have 2 at a time. And so I grabbed 2 clean ones and I put the others in the laundry. Now I'm going to clean my clear stamp blocks. So I use these all the time. They're from different companies. The ones I really like are the Dough Crafts, I think is what they're called. They're really inexpensive, but they have a really nice grid line on them, and they really work well for me. I like them. They're a good value. I would definitely recommend them. But I have all kinds of random ones that I've acquired, and I'd love to acquire some more in time. So I'm just going to shine these up with a little bit of my stamp cleaner and this clean microfiber cloth. And look at them shine. Yay! So we can check that one off the list. Woohoo! And then the next thing I have on my list is to clean my blending brushes. This is a blending brush cleaner from Pink and Main. And so you can just take a mild soap and clean those up. I'm not doing it here today, one, because I don't have a sink. I'm showing you my pretty vase. I love it. I like to store stuff like this in, containers that I like to look at. So this one works great for my blending brushes. Anyways, I'm not cleaning it with you here today because I'm going to be crafting and I need to clean those like on a Sunday night when I'm done for a few days. So I'll do that later. I'm not going to check it off just yet. Now, put away stamps and dies. Well, this one sure is fun. Okay, maybe you put away your stamps and dies after you use them for every project. If you do, awesome. I don't. I have an acrylic box on the right side of my desk, and I put my stamps and dies in there. And sometimes like once a week I'll clear it out. But it's been, I think, like 2 weeks for some of these. So what I do is I store my dies by the company that manufactures them. And I store my stamps by category. So I have like sentiments, food, animals, people, scene building, backgrounds, whatever. So I don't store them by company. All right, so when I'm cleaning out my box, I just start sorting things, knowing how I have them filed away. And then I just put everything in a pile and put it away. And this is a system that just, it works for me. I'm destashing that. So that's what I'm doing there, is sticking the die and the stamp together. So I am destashing, or thinking of destashing as I do this process, because sometimes I know, okay, I think the last time I played with that stamp set, I was done with it. My 6x8 stamp sets like this, I actually keep together in a different box. I keep them in a 12x12 box. I got all those put away. Woohoo! The rest of this stuff is stuff I do off camera, but I just wanted to share this process with you guys and maybe inspire you to adopt something like this. Make it your own, make it work for your craft space. Thanks so much for watching. I'd love to hear your feedback and what you think. All right, have a beautiful day. Bye.